Have you ever stared into the darkness and felt that something was staring back at you? What would you do if the familiar suddenly turned sinister? If a figure on a rooftop or a coworker in a warehouse didn't seem entirely human? In tonight's chilling story, you'll hear about two encounters with beings that defy explanation. One takes place in a quiet neighborhood, the other in an isolated warehouse. Both share one terrifying theme: the unknown is far closer than we think. Before we begin, let me ask for your help. If you enjoy this type of content and want to keep hearing more mysterious and spine-chilling stories, don't forget to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments. It's a small gesture, but it helps this channel grow and reach others who, like you, crave the thrill of the unknown. Now let's dive in. Just don't forget to keep your lights on. Welcome to Echoes in the Dark. It was late, just past 2 a.m., and the neighborhood lay cloaked in silence. The man couldn't sleep. Tossing and turning in his bed, he eventually gave up, wandering over to the window of his second-floor room. From there, he could see the rooftops of the houses across the street, dimly lit by faint moonlight. At first, it seemed like nothing out of the ordinary. But then, something moved. A shadow darted across the rooftops, a large animal. He assumed it was a stray cat, but as he squinted to get a better look, his heart began to race. This was no ordinary cat. The creature was enormous, easily the size of a large dog. Its sleek, feline-like body moved with unnerving grace, and its glowing red eyes seemed to pierce the darkness as it scanned the rooftops. It prowled along the edges of the houses, leaping from one roof to another in a way that seemed too fast, too precise. The man's pulse quickened as he watched the creature suddenly stop, crouch low, and then pounce, launching itself toward one house. It should have collided with the wall, but instead, it disappeared without a sound. No crash, no thud, nothing. Minutes later, the silence was broken by screams. Gunshots followed shortly after. The man froze, his breath caught in his throat. The source of the chaos was the very house where the creature had vanished. By morning, rumors spread through the neighborhood. A teenage boy had become violently unhinged, attacking his sister in a sudden frenzied rage. In the struggle, his parents were forced to defend themselves, leaving the boy severely injured. The man couldn't shake the connection. He had seen that creature enter the house just moments before everything unfolded. Whatever it wasn't natural, and it left behind devastation. The second story comes from a man who worked as a security guard at a warehouse on the outskirts of town. We'll call him Jack. It was a lonely job with long, quiet nights. One evening, a new recruit joined the team, a young man no older than 23. He was unassuming, claiming to be inexperienced, but something about him seemed off. Despite his supposed lack of training, he carried himself like someone who knew exactly what he was doing. His gear was unusually advanced: tactical boots and a high-powered flashlight. One night he arrived unannounced, even though he wasn't scheduled. He carried a backpack and appeared more prepared than ever. His first words sent chills down Jack's spine. "What's about to happen? You won't understand," the recruit said, his voice eerily calm. "But it's going to happen, and you need to listen to me if you want to survive." Jack was confused, but something about the man's demeanor made him obey. The recruit locked the senior guard inside the office and then led Jack behind the warehouse. "They're coming," the recruit said, handing him a knife. "Don't let fear take over. It makes them stronger." Before Jack could ask what he meant, the recruit began muttering what sounded like a prayer. The night grew unnaturally quiet, and then they appeared. 3 shadowy figures darted along the perimeter fence. At first, Jack thought they were stray dogs, but as they drew closer, he realized these creatures were unlike anything he'd ever seen. They were massive, jet black, and glowing red eyes. They moved with terrifying speed, their snarls echoing in the cold night air. The recruit sprang into action, fighting with a skill that seemed almost superhuman. Two of the creatures charged at him, their enormous jaws snapping inches from his face. He dodged and struck with precision, while Jack stood frozen in terror. Then, the third creature turned its attention to Jack. It lunged, knocking him to the ground. Its weight pressed against his chest and its hot breath seared his face. In a desperate act of survival, he swung the knife wildly. At first, his strike seemed futile, but then something shifted. As his fear gave way to determination, the creature seemed to weaken. Its massive form shrank, its once terrifying presence diminishing before his eyes. As Jack fought, he noticed something strange. The recruit moved with calculated precision, almost as if he had done this many times before. His every strike and dodge seemed rehearsed, like a professional warrior. Despite Jack's fear, his desperation slowly transformed into anger, then into courage. That's when the creatures faltered. Finally, the last creature retreated into the darkness. The recruit, breathing heavily, returned to Jack. "You did well," he said simply. His tone was calm, almost emotionless, as if what had just transpired was routine for him. Without another word, he took the knife back and then disappeared into the night. Jack never saw him again. Since that night, Jack has lived with a single conviction that he shares with anyone willing to listen. All unknown mysterious things, be it ghosts, demons, or creatures from the dark, they only have power over us because of our fear. The moment you let go of fear, they lose their strength. What do these stories tell us? Are these beings manifestations of our deepest fears? Predators from another dimension? Or something even stranger? Creatures that thrive on fear and feed on human vulnerability? Perhaps the lesson here is that courage is not just a shield, it's a weapon. Fear is the key that opens the door to the unknown, and once that door is open, who knows what might step through? So next time you feel that prickling sensation on the back of your neck, remember, fear might be your worst enemy, or the very thing that invites the darkness in.